Oh, here we are again now, and it's like no time has passed. Gazing out upon the sunset as it sinks into the night. Many times it seemed as though a given day might be our last. Face to face with certain death, it's somehow coming out alright. I don't think that we have any cause to lament, but there's quite a lot of thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent, thrilling intent.
Down below, the amassed armies continue to hold the line as all of the angels, one after the other, turn around on the falling fragments of the great structure. You whiz down through the air and back towards the ground, to the city itself.
While we're flying, I think, I'm gonna say, hey, Granola, you might not know this, but generally people have first and last names. I haven't thought for a last name.
I recommend Bar.
What?
Bar.
I was thinking, you did just help kill a king. What about Granola Guillotine?
That's a good name.
You hear no affirmation from the bottom of the bell. Mercy, you're the one who picks it up. Yeah, that's approval.
Oh, and then we could call you Gigi. That's very cute.
Your bell. It's the very base of the tower and the city and produces this big wave of dirt. Behind you, the tower that characterized Tannhauser, that worked its way into your memories and your dreams, is falling. It's collapsing into sand, and that sand is starting to blow away in the wind. And Ian points at it. That's going to create an artificial desert.
It sure is.
Oh.
That's
Still better than the alternative.
Yeah, no, that's just gonna have a huge impact on the ecosystem. Like, do you have any, endangered animals in this area that will probably be threatened by this?
Us, we're endangered.
Oh, yeah, that's
Doesn't every place?
very profound. Hey, Marcus, you doing okay?
Little bit shaken, but, hanging in there. You?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm doing fine. I dug in the sand and shot some grease out. That was a very uneventful fight for me. I did see the...
No, your grease was clutch.
No, I saw the...
Hey, you saved me.
Oh,
You
thank
saved
you.
Gregor. I saw it.
I can't believe you're hyping me up after you guys did all that stuff. I appreciate it, but at the same time, you're allowed to take your quiet little victory lap.
Speaking of which, what did you do? I was kind of, face down in the sand for a little bit there.
I was just trying to talk to whatever was left of the prince for a minute.
You could talk to it? Doesn't it have no mouth like granola? No offense, granola.
Granola isn't a staring contest with tungsten.
I was kind of talking to it on the inside, though. It's kind of hard to explain.
Okay, magic stuff.
Yeah, magic stuff.
Cool.
Honestly, it sounds like maybe not the exact same thing, but similar to when I went to the above.
Yeah, it might be.
Maybe instead of going all the way to the top, it was just going to him.
Well, that doesn't explain things at all for me, but I'll take your word for it.
All right.
Marcus is a very big man despite his stature.
He's
What is that?
big,
Hey,
he's
what is
tall.
that? I'm tall.
He's tall.
I'm tall even if I'm thin.
God,
He
I
weighs
wish I
80
was...
pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, I tend to weigh between 80 and 90 pounds. 2,
Have you eaten today?
I mean, I haven't really had... I ate a granola bar at one point.
Wow.
Oh, no, not you. No, not you. Like, it was the your namesake.
Sorry, I kind of love this bit.
That was perfect.
You gather up and a sort of quiet rumble spreads throughout the area as the tower continues to collapse. And Marcus, you take a step over this way, sort of content at least for now to get back rest, maybe help with the defense. But as you go, your foot begins to catch on something, actually. It's not something any had noticed. She's sort of like... She babbles inanely immediately next to you about wanting to be taller, exactly like you, but you take the step, and you press through something. Almost foot level, it hangs above the ground, almost like a tripwire more than anything. You blink a few times, and for a second, all of those buried memories from the last few minutes, honestly, spike to the surface again. You feel the presence of a great demonic energy. Your eyes shift to a pitch black, and you are yanked elsewhere. Marcus, you find yourself in a great, dark expanse.
Where am I? Where is this?
It was not inordinately polite of you to bring down the tower on my head.
On your head? Where exactly were you?
Well, I was waiting for you, and then you flew off to God's nowhere instead of simply walking down like a normal person.
I mean, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the tower was kind of in the process of crumbling.
And yet you utterly defied the most set-in-stone tropes of the genre. Where was the big escape? Just fly off on a bell?
You flew off in a bell. Is that not a big enough escape for you?
But where's the drama? Oh, we have to escape. I guess we will, and we did.
Did you want us to get banged up a little bit more? What the fuck is your problem? Who are you?
Right, I'm sorry. I've sidetracked myself. I apologize. It was not at all the purpose of bringing you here. I was simply a little annoyed because I had to fall back to my 17th layer of red tape since you flew over the first 16.
Well, I'm sorry that the way that I live my life and nearly fucking die isn't convenient enough for you. What is this about? Wait, did you say red tape? Is this hell stuff?
Why don't you take a seat?
I think I'll stand, actually. Thank you.
Oh, if you prefer.
He stands, behind the chair.
If you
Lean
prefer.
on it like a cool guy.
Right. Well, I'll keep this brief. I'm sure you have many more things to do today, as do I. He produces a notebook, smooths it out on the desk, and then an additional piece of paper, puts on little half-reading glasses to look it over. Right, this is the correct one. So, having now completed your objective here in Tannhauser, slayed the last obstacle in your way and escaped with your life, albeit not in the most dramatic fashion possible.
Oh, stop giving me that bullshit. Get on with it.
I simply wanted to give you the opportunity to evaluate how you found the experience and to answer a few of my own questions, if you wouldn't mind.
Evaluate how I found what experience?
Oh, well, all of this, of course. This, your trip home and everything that shook out of it. It's been a very eventful, short period of time, hasn't it?
I suppose it has been.
Oh, I'm sorry, but right, yes, before we... Right, I've gotten ahead of myself again. Allow me to introduce myself. He stands up from the table. I'm called Venn, and you are Marcus Velofi, correct?
I tend to prefer to introduce my own name, but yes.
Oh, simply
a
establishing.
Sincere pleasure to meet you.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that we're both on the same page. Right. So, if you could answer just these few questions, then we can both be about our business. So, first off, and of course, if you need any clarification, we don't have to stick to the script, so feel free to ask your own follow-up questions. This is less of an interrogation and more of just an interview, a sort of...
Sure.
Yes. So,
why are you speaking to me again? I feel like you're saying a lot of words and not explaining anything.
Well... I have been assigned the task of examining some of the affairs you've been involving yourself recently in order to establish... well, you know they say that the past is the best predictor of the future. You have become an object of concern to many, many individuals, and as their representative in this matter, I simply wished to finally go straight to the source after a great number of secondary interviews, gathering of evidence, and, dare I say, examining the ripples you've left in your wake.
Oh, you dare say?
Indeed I do.
I would like my legal counsel, please.
Oh, well, of course, this is not, I think you may be cutting to the end of the page. Of course, you're not under any obligation to answer any of these questions if you don't wish to. But I think this
Let me guess, it's in my best interest, yada yada yada.
Well, you may as well hear what I'd like to know, and if there's anything you would prefer not to discuss, just let me know that much, and I will mark that down and nothing else. How does that sound?
And if I refuse to speak with you, period?
Well, that would be disappointing, but of course that is within your right.
What do you want to know?
Right. He picks up the piece of paper and starts from the top. For what purpose did you come to this country? What were your intentions for Tannhauser?
Well, if you had been keeping as close an eye on me as you claimed to, you would know that I didn't exactly choose to come here. I was sprinting through a hell dimension and happened to end up in my home country.
That is certainly how it would appear superficially, and perhaps that is indeed all there is to it, but I felt it necessary to establish that you did not, in fact, come in with any particular agenda. That is correct?
That is correct.
Very good. He writes down for a moment. Right, and, well, you may not have come with any particular intention, but having assessed the situation here, you certainly sprung into action. And so I wanted to ask, how do you rate the results? Do you feel that you have succeeded, and why or why not?
I think it's far too early to tell.
In that case, what will you look for to try and make that judgment in the future?
I'll look for how the people of Tannhauser fare coming out of this. How well we're able to rebuild things. How good an existence the average person is able to eke out here.
Quality of life. Makes sense. Mundane but necessary. All right. And do you consider yourself to have a stake in what happens to Tannhauser from here on out? And if so, what further action do you intend to take to influence events?
I guess I hadn't really thought about that extensively. Like, it's my hometown. Of course I feel like I have a stake in what happens next. I want this place to turn out all right. I want this place to be better than it was when I grew up here, and certainly when I came back here and found a fucking angel tower smack dab in the middle of everything.
Yes, quite the eyesore. In that case, why had you never come back at any period between when you left and now? And if indeed you had not been accidentally thrust back here, you might never have known about the plight your homeland was suffering.
Well, I was just so busy sleeping around all the time. I just did not have a free moment.
I see. I shall take that answer at face value.
Can you spell promiscuity, or do you need me to spell it out for you?
I think I can manage. I have a great deal of experience with shorthand. Now, in that case, Right. These are a bit more form. You'll forgive, of course, the boilerplate language here. Would you say you are very unlikely, somewhat unlikely, somewhat likely, or very likely to continue altering the destinies of entire nations?
That's a hell of a question. Let's go with, somewhat unlikely. This isn't exactly something I'm planning to do often or even at all again.
Kind of raises an eyebrow. You say that, and yet starts putting up a finger at a time. Honorant, Freya, Tannhauser. One begins to think that perhaps there is a pattern in your involvement in world affairs, does one not?
I mean, look, I travel a lot. I happen to end up in places where some messed up stuff is happening, and I happen to be there with people in a capacity where I can change things. I guess somewhat likely.
Somewhat likely. Very well. For each of the following statements, indicate, please, whether you agree, disagree, strongly disagree, or neither agree nor disagree.
I just want you to know that I hate this.
No, I will take a note. Hate. It's important to weigh the consequences before taking action.
Agree.
Mm-hmm. People who are upset with me usually just need to loosen up.
Somewhat disagree. I can do some dumb shit sometimes.
Dumb shit. I trust my judgment when it's necessary to disregard the rules.
Strongly agree.
And finally, I care a lot about the final destination of my immortal soul.
Prefer not to answer?
Very well. Right. Well, we've just about come to the end. Of course, in order to put the finishing... There's a bit of... I'm afraid there's a bit of bureaucracy involved, unsurprisingly. And so just to verify your identity with respect to your answers here, I will ask you... He turns the paper around, slides it for you. If you could sign here and here.
Absolutely not. Unless you're ready for me to sit here and read every single line of every single page, appendix, and codices that you have on that thing.
I do have the one-page summary.
Yeah, I don't want the one-page summary, buddy.
Very well. Sticks it back. In that case, no signature required, but just to keep things on the up and up, in that case, if you could please, here is a small 3x3 grid of images. If you could please indicate which of the squares within this image contain a horse.
Send me back. We're done
Jesus.
Wow.